Today's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Collie,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
As you are well aware, we have one item on our agenda today. That's a discussion of the fireworks regulations / ordinance, I guess. I don't know how you want to do this. Liz put together another, I think she sent this before, another piece on our agenda here as a handout. Looking at current ordinance, our current ordinance and current like ordinance for sales and different things. My suggestion, if somebody else wants to do it differently, just speak up. I thought maybe to get some structure and get us through this, just go through what Liz sent out. Would that be okay? Or somebody have a different idea? Is that okay? Yep. If we miss something, just speak up, please. First thing she has on here is current ordinance for sales. Does everybody have their hand out with them? Okay, well, it's all consumer fireworks sellers must abide by the licensing requirements and rules for sales as set by the state of Iowa. That's A. B. All consumer fireworks sellers must complete the city of Perry's information request form, providing proof of liability insurance, state of Iowa's retail license and sales tax permit, as well as site maps. And then, so that's pretty much standard, I think. Then below that, she has possible drafted options for sales. Option 1 would be no change to what I just read. Option 2 is adding paragraph C that reads, all consumer fireworks sellers are restricted to selling in the following specified zones as declared by the city's zoning map, light and heavy industrial zones. That's C, or option 2. And then option 3 is adding paragraph C that reads, all consumer fireworks sellers are restricted to selling in the following specified zones as declared by the city's zoning map, heavy and industrial zones. We spoke about that before, and we want to make any change in respect to where people sell them at Hy-Vee and Ace Hardware and the places they sell them.
I can't see any advantage to doing that. They're gonna find them. And I don't feel that we should even give them.
Yeah, let them sell where they want to sell. I feel so.
Okay.
I don't think that's part of our scope of what we need to do.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Makes
Okay.
good sense.
Sounds like council's in agreement on that we go with, under sales, we would go with option 1, which would be no change. They could sell them where they currently are. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, current ordinances for discharging. Do I need to read that? You're probably all familiar with
Not the
it.
whole thing, that's just our current
Yeah.
ordinance. And really, change we made was this spring was just cutting out the arterial, commercial and central business district zoning for setting off fireworks.
Then below, Liz listed possible drafted options for discharging. Option 1 would be to a complete rewrite of paragraph 2 and a renumbering of reading fireworks discharging regulations. The city of Perry deems the use of consumer fireworks as a threat to public safety or a nuisance to landowners, and therefore prohibits the use of consumer fireworks within the city limits, except for commercial displays that have received a permit from the city of Perry. That's one option, I guess. Option, or number 4 is permitting of display of fireworks. The city may, upon application, in writing a permit for display of fireworks by a city agency, fair associations, amusement parks, or other organizations or groups of individuals approved by the city council when such fireworks display will be handled by a competent operator. A competent operator is an individual who has been trained in the proper use of fireworks and holds a valid pyrotechnics license. No permit shall be permitted hereunder unless the operator or sponsoring organization is filed with the city evidence of insurance in the following amounts. I don't think I need to read probably the amounts, but that's one option. Option 2, rewriting bullet G, point 1 to read or some variation thereof, July 4th, they could shoot them between the hours of 4 and 11 PM. Option 3, rewriting bullet to read like this or some variation of this, July 3rd and 4th between the hours of 4 PM and 11 PM. I think this is a real kicker in terms of what we really probably are here to discuss today. So going back, permitting fireworks display is what we're talking about. So what do we want to do? Just allow organizations to do it, or do we want to have bullet G, again, July 4th between the hours of 4 PM, 11 PM, July 3rd and 4th between the hours of 4 PM and 11 PM, or some other variation for shooting them?
If I can just make one comment. before
Sure.
we Get started into that conversation. The permitting of display fireworks, no matter what we do need to update that language. Because I think our current ordinance is just display of fireworks, not display of display fireworks, which when this all first started, there's some information on different categories of fireworks, and display fireworks would be categorized as like the professional fireworks that are set off by the Chamber of Commerce and, you know, homecoming, things like that by a licensed
Right.
operator. And this also adds a definition of the competent operator and what they have to be considered competent. 'Cause
And I think that's
before it was
important.
just,
Yeah.
you have to be a competent operator with no definition as to what that is. And so we wanted to make sure that we were clear. So Liz found all of that information.
Okay, so let's settle that piece first.
So that's kind of, regardless of anything else, we do need to update that. But really, as the mayor said, the conversation is down to just not allow them or allow them, and if we allow them, what days and times.
That's not four. That's what we currently do with.
Correct.
How does this affect the group that was setting them off out at Karis? Were they doing it individually?
Was that,
There was a big display that went on.
that would have fallen under just a private consumer fireworks is what that technically was.
How about Karis Funeral Home?
Yeah,
I think that's.
I mean, they set up a bunch of
I think that's Mr. Baxter, I think, yeah.
We're talking about
a
school
professional.
district, chamber of commerce.
Oh, yeah.
And to that point, I mean, it talks about a group of individuals, so say, you know, a car show wants to get a license and hire a company to set off fireworks or whatever. But the key in all of that language is the competent operator and having them be a licensed pyrotechnician. So,
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
That's,
I'm all for that.
Listen.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're saying is any organization or group like a car show, Dean wants to shoot fireworks next year.
won't happen at a car
They,
show.
they would need to apply just like the city chamber or the high school, and they would, and most, as important, they would have to meet our definition of what a qualified pyrotechnic person is.
Does the chamber?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys approve that?
Yeah.
Normally mid-June,
Right.
May or June. Yep,
Yep.
yep, because it's a display of display fireworks.
I
So
like
we-
that.
Are we okay with that language then? Okay. Do you have a? Is that settle the discussion, Sven?
Yeah, I think that's that solution.
Under option one, we're doing number 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's more of a housekeeping item than the topic of consumer fireworks.
Option one is for
that's what's reflected in that draft ordinance that was provided to. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I feel the same way. I think we've had so much controversy about this. It's affecting people's lives in a poor way. I think it was nuts last year. It gets worse every year. I would vote to ban it. And give it a year, see how it goes. And then possibly letting it come back. Oh, and there'll still be people that fire, but it'll be way less people. 'Cause I know Waukee, Urbandale, all of those have banned it. My son lives in Waukee. We've gone down there. You'll hear just a few. And normally if neighbors complain, the police are right there and it stops. I think that's our option this year. You bet. 4 years. Well, and with it affecting the lives of so many other people in the negative way, I think we need to try and slow it down.
I don't have to agree with them too.
The size of the fireworks.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's just, and it's getting worse. We've been lucky that people have to be our next phase, but it's just, we've had a lot of people come to our city council. They complained, which I appreciate that they did that. And it was worse in some streets. Than in Highfield. Coming in on the snow. It's just something that we need to take into account. And I think and I feel sorry for the people that have to. And animals, everything, there's just so much to look at. It's just- it's time. Whatever happens.
We will be either way. We will be either way.
You want me to comment?
Sure. You bet.
Jump in.
Sven's giving me a look, so, you know.
I just noticed, I got a message that, people online can't hear, so if you can make sure to pull up your microphones, and talk into those.
Okay, Chuck.
I'm gonna go along with the majority. Personally, it doesn't bother me. They could be shooting them off in my backyard all night long, and I would enjoy it. It's just that simple. But I understand the concerns, and I understand the people that it does bother. And so I'll go along with the majority, but personally, I think we're in an area that we don't belong. That's my personal opinion. I think we're making rules that we should not do. I mean, we can't. I just don't think we should.
Well, we shouldn't have to, if people would abide by it.
If they were, that's true. If it was respectfully done, you know, during decent times, you're right. You know, if it was up to me, we wouldn't touch it.
And I agree with Chuck. I mean, I've had them going off all around me. Doesn't bother me. but I know that my next door neighbors. And it bothers them a lot. I'll go along.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, is go with the majority.
I live a block from the hospital. I don't know if that's within regulation, but my street was absolutely crazy. The half a block away on Lucinda, right across from the hospital, it was crazy out there. So that wasn't being followed at all.
So what's the consensus? Is the consensus that we go with the language that says the city of Perry deems the use of consumer fireworks as a threat to public safety or a nuisance to landowners, and therefore prohibits the use of consumer fireworks within the city limits except for commercial displays that have received a permit from the city of Perry? Is that what we want in the ordinance that we're going to be voting on? Not today, but coming up.
I support that also.
I do too.
So we'll have a consensus, at least that everybody supports it. Is that correct? Any more discussion on that?
So that will be the ordinance that we had drafted for the December 6th council
Right.
meeting.
Right. Correct. I think that's where the word consensus comes in. You may have not even voted for it, but you support it.
We're bound to support the law. And that's what we're doing, is changing the law. Even if I would rather we didn't, I still have to obey the law. I have to support the law.
And support what we decide. Any more discussion about when fireworks can be shot or not shot? As Sven indicated,
Shoot off.
as
I,
Sven
uh,
indicated, then this will be the language that we have in the ordinance that we'll be presenting on December 6th.
Yep. And just an aside, in addition, we'll have conversations during budget season about budget implications of this. So, advertising, we've talked about yard signs, things like that. But also we'll have conversation about setting a budget for extra patrol during the 4th of July timeframe. Because I think that's a key part of enforcement, is being able to have enough staff on hand. And, honestly, it's what were we down, 3 or 4 officers this 4th? So like some of that might be out of our control. So we might have to look at other options for that as well. Whether that's the county or part-time or something like that. But so that'll be a part of budget discussions. Obviously, it might start a little bit before the end of this year. So that could also be a budget amendment to this year if Susie doesn't shoot lasers at me through her eyeballs. But that might be something that we have to look at the budget for this current fiscal year to get ahead of that for next year.
Absolutely. So I think that's gonna be a big part of the issue. Stuff like that, maybe even some. But yeah. Either way. stays the current way or.
So we want to look at violations, and I think right now, the municipal fine is $250. Is that correct, first of all?
Yes,
And do we want to change that or leave it as is?
I think that's probably a pretty good fine.
I think one of the first years it was like 500 or something like that, 400 or 500. And I think there was some feedback from the officers that they didn't want to write a $500 ticket right out of the gate. So the $250 is a little bit more palatable for some of the officers to write those tickets.
I don't think we put that in the ordinance, but that is something that we can look at. You have other municipal infractions like a second offense, third offense violation, or the increase in fines. That's something we can look at. Municipal infractions right now. We have anywhere from 0 to like $2,000 limit, I think, on municipal infractions. So we can definitely put that kind of structure for that.
Is there anything else related to the fireworks ordinance that we need to discuss today that we have not covered?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because he'll be sworn in for
January 1st.
Effective.
You're on,
effective January.
you're still on the hook through December. You'll still get my emails, Doc.
Can I have this little?
Yes.
Nobody else
Yep.
is gonna want that, so I would think that having this better.
Yeah. Put it on your casket.
Happy thought. Yeah. Okay.
Full of it.
Anything else in fireworks that we haven't covered that we need to address today?
Just appreciate having this work session. I like it. It's nice to be on this
Well, and it's
session.
good to come in and get a consensus before
We're sitting
We're-
the road.
Yes.
voting, yes,
Okay.
because my tendency would be to leave it as it is. But like Doc says, they've abused it.
Yeah. I'm just glad we're moving forward with this because we do need to get it resolved for everybody so they know how to move forward. And I'm glad that we have a consensus that everybody can support. If there's,
Well, this is a tough decision.
it is.
And
It's a tough
you're
one.
gonna anger a lot of people, you know,
Either way.
either way. Yes.
And God forbid, if we need to, we can review it again in another year. All right. Having no other business before us, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Go out and enjoy the day. Another